Okay, hey, what's up, guys? So, sorry I have not posted a video in a little while. I've been in kind of a weird spot with Edison where, for the majority of this year, I haven't really had a deck that, really resonates with me. Um, I think the last two major Edison events I played Diva Hero, and then most recently I was on the Machina Quick Draw hype. Um, I've played quite a bit of the Machina Quick Draw deck, and I really just don't like it. It does not fit my play style. I think it's a little bit too like one dimensional for me. Um, I feel like most of the times that you win revolves around just summoning like your frame and fortress and hoping they stick. And I really don't like being forced to like successfully summon and attack with fortress to not only um, you know deal damage but get rid of threats. Like there's so many times where I wish I had like a Caius in my hand and could just summon it and get rid of a problematic card on the spot. But instead, you kind of have to summon the fortress, hope it doesn't get bottomless, and then attack, and then hope it doesn't get deprisoned. And I really just did not like how one dimensional the deck was feeling. Um, and then my favorite part of the deck is quick draw, but unfortunately you have to side out quick draw against a lot of decks, especially decks that are playing DDV or oppression. So it would pretty much be the case that games 2 and 3 I'm playing with zero quick draws in the deck, and at that point it's just kind of a boring deck in my opinion. So I've been really struggling to find a deck in Edison that really calls out to me, and therefore my desire to play Edison and make Edison content has been kind of a little bit low. So a number of my friends have been encouraging me to try to play Gladiator Beasts because they feel like it's a good fit for my play style. And I've been overall kind of hesitant to touch this deck just because I remember back in the day I hated, and even today I hate playing against this deck, so I kind of just have a bias against it. But I've been playing it in recent history, and I have to admit that I think it really fits my playstyle quite well. I really like the fact that it has a heavy control aspect, but also has the option to pop off. I like that, good decision making gets highly rewarded in this deck. I like that I feel like the deck has all of the tools it needs to handle pretty much any situation, granted you make the right decisions and sequence things correctly. And I just I like the toolbox nature of this deck. I like how that once it gets going, it can snowball and generate so much advantage. And I've just been having a lot of fun with the deck. So to be honest, I've only played this deck a few times so far, but I am playing in War League, and I thought I would review some of the gameplay from the first couple of weeks, and kind of take you guys on my journey to get better at this deck because I could definitely see myself playing this long term. I feel like there's so much to learn about this deck, so much nuance um, in when to make a play versus be patient and do nothing. And there's also a lot of really cool little tricks with this deck. Um, so yeah, let's get right into it. Let's go into the replays. So what I'm showing actually here is the list. It's been in a state of flux as I've been learning the deck and tweaking it. I'm messing around with the both the main and the side. Um, you can see here I'm on Stratos and Rhoda, which I've been liking. I just like Stratos as a card and a very easy summon going first or second. I think because um, there's a pretty sizable core of monsters. This is definitely a deck that can go over 40 pretty easily. In fact, I kind of have been liking going over 40 just to make sure that the ratios of monsters to traps is nice and balanced. Especially because I'm playing the Stratos and the Rhoda, right? So I'm playing 19 monsters in this build plus the Rhoda, which makes 20. I think it's totally fine to go over 40 in this case. But I will be messing around with 41 and 42 as well. Um, I will say that I didn't think that I would like Wabaku. And my initial impressions for Wabaku is already that I like it quite a bit. I like being able to hedge against heavy storm. I like having a chainable that actually keeps your opponent from outing your monsters, and it preserves your board state. I like the fact that first turn you can summon Prisma, dump the quarry, set the Wabaku. If they try to out your Prisma with like a Stratos or something else, you can just activate Wabaku, save it, and the next turn dump the Bestiari, set the GB, and pop off like that. Um, so I've been liking Wabaku a lot, and as of now, I can't really see myself taking it out. I think it's also nice against decks that can swarm and kill you in one turn, like Light Swarms, or maybe even things like maybe like Gigavice or Forgs. So we'll be testing out the Wabaku. Maybe we'll cut it down to one, but so far we're liking it. And then I guess I'll also say that I'm liking the smashing ground of the main quite a bit. I like how it kind of helps you equalize if you're going second, especially against something like Black Wings, where them having a Sure and a Clue in hand could just be GG if you run into that, and it turns out they're Icarus and whatnot. So that's all I have to say about the deck so far. Let's get into the replays. So coincidentally, both of the week 1 and week 2 World League matches were against Light Sworns. Um, so not too diverse. I don't have too much experience against a variety of different decks yet, but you can see here that I was playing a Light Imprisoning Mirror in the side deck, and it actually came in clutch against both decks. So I probably won't be taking this out just because I liked having a main deck card that helps you deal with Raiko, because Raiko's kind of annoying for this deck, as well as Judgment Dragon. Um, so let's get into the replays. I will say though, after both weeks, I feel like this deck does have a good matchup against Lice Ones, especially because you could bring in the third War Chariot, and they're not really playing too much back row. So we'll see how that goes here. All right. I think this was week 2 of War League. Week 1, I actually played Quick Draw and got absolutely bodied by Gladiator Beast, which is why I decided to play this. So, opening turn, I have pretty decent hand. I'm just gonna set Trap Stun. I don't know what I'm playing against. I think this is a pretty safe play. I want to kind of get more information before committing more cards. I'm gonna hold the Proving Ground to see what he does and what Glad I need to get into my hand. But you know, depending on what he does, um, we can figure out how to proceed. Uh, I've really been learning to be patient with this deck. So okay, he sends Plague, so I kind of have to go a little aggro right here. I know some of the bestie. I'm not afraid of Bottomless or anything like that. Not that this deck would necessarily play it. And I'm thinking that if he has Honest in hand, which is pretty common play with Arcus, this is a solid play because it'll get the bestiary into the grave, which I can bring back later with Darius. So that's kind of my thought process behind searching out the bestie. So he activates Threatening Roar. I'm going to negate that with Trap Stun so I can go into Rediari and banish his Plague. And then I feel pretty comfortable here to just set 2 cards. I'll hold the Deep Prison in case, there's a chance that, that he Heavy Storms me. But I'm feeling pretty good about the Bottomless and War Chariot. If he summons, Lila or whatever, I can, or if he summons like a Jane, I could just Bottomless that. If he summons Lila or anything else, I have the War Chariot as backup. So he summons the Aaron, easy Bottomless, no problem. Here I think about it for a second, but he already wastes his normal summon, and he's using Foolish to get out Wolf. So I think this is like the only gas that he has left for this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and War Chariot this, because if I can connect with this Rediari, then I could just add back the War Chariot with a quest. So that goes well. Ooh, I get I get a little aggro here, it would seem. I'm not really afraid of his back row because this deck probably doesn't really play any real back row. It's probably just Threatening Roar and Beckoning Light. But let's see what I do here. I guess my thought process is I have double Test Tiger. Um, Oh, I know what I was gonna do here. So I have double test tiger, right? And I have a normal summon. So I'm just gonna try to, pop the back row, see what it is. And then if it's not threatening roar, then I can normal summon this Secutor and test tiger it to activate its effect and, get really ahead in an advantage here. Otherwise, I'm just baiting out this threatening roar. Um, so that's fine. Bait out the threatening roar. And this is also good again because I have the Test Tiger GB in my hand. If he clears this, then I could just Darius it back. So I don't really care about this. And I wasn't really reading bottomless, so we're fine. So he does indeed clear the bestie, which is exactly what I wanted him to do. And yep, now this is such an easy Geysaris play right here. Pop both of his cards, get in there for 24. I'm under Cold Wave, but it doesn't really matter in this game state. And I bring back the I get cheeky, so I bring back the Quest and get a Secutor. I forgot that I was under Cold Wave. Not gonna lie, I wanted to set this, but it's fine to just add that back to the hand for next turn. And I do have this Deep Prison set from before to protect the Secutor. So um, it's interesting. So he sets the Raikou. Like, I don't know. He could have attacked with the Arcus, and I wouldn't have been able to deep prison that. That may have been the move. Um, but then his like subsequent turn is not very good, I guess. So he's just gonna set this Raikou. But he knows I have the War Chariot, which is the weird thing to me that he thinks this is the right play. Because I'm just gonna War Chariot that, and then he doesn't attack because he's afraid of my two back row. Now I smash and ground, and this should be GG for him. I'm just like way too ahead at this point. I'm gonna resolve this Secutor, and yeah, I'm gonna get that War Chariot back again, and there should be no way that he can come back from this spot. Um, yeah, I just don't even really care about the Cyber Dragon at this point. But yeah, okay, so that was game one. It's pretty straightforward. And then you can see here, I drew the Light Imprisoning Mirror, which is so good against this deck. It's just like no Lila. You can chain to Lumina to make them go neg. No Wolf. No Raikou. He honest my Cyber Dragon. That is fine with me. I set 3 because I have the Road. Oh, I set 4. Wow, yeah, makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and Judgment that to go for the +1. I'm going to deep prison the Lila, and now I'm going to make him go neg with this Lumina because I chain Light Imprisoning Mirror. So I'm in a very good spot at this point. I'm up 1 card on him, and he went first, so he should be up a card on me. So I guess I'm up 2, and now it should just be nice and easy. Cyber Dragon, Bestiari. He's gonna go ahead and negate the attack, and now he's okay. This is just really unfortunate. He top decks heavy, instantly rips it, and I have the Starlight Road, so that should be all she wrote. Yeah, top deck of GB. This is just game over. It's almost impossible to come back from this spot, I would say. And I get the Bestiari back for the next turn in case he I don't know. He can't even if he summons JD, the most he could do is just run over the Stardust, right? And I can Geysaris him next turn. So that was a pretty straightforward match. Like I said, I think GBs have a good matchup against Lightsworns because War Chariot is so good against their deck, and it can also stop Honest. And they've only got really 1 normal summon per turn, and they're not really running too much real back row, right? So the next one is against Lightsworns again, but I think it's like the Chaos version of Lightsworn. So this was also an interesting match, I believe. So he's going first. He sets a Raikou. I don't know it's Lightsworn at this point, so I'm gonna play safe. I was thinking about, I mean, I only have 1 real GB in my hand, right? Because this is a brick, so I don't want to waste my real GB into this Raikou. So I'm just gonna set 1 back row, I think, and try to bait out this Raikou and see what he does. So he does use the Raikou, or it does end up being a Raikou. I bait it out. He hits the trap stun, and then I'm totally fine with this position, to be honest. If I draw a Test Tiger, then he's in a really bad spot because I can smash and ground and use Secutor. He does a kind of weird play right here where he summons Plague, and I think he just wants to get it into the graveyard, but Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, I guess maybe he's afraid of gores, but I think maybe if I were him, I would just start going aggro with light sworns. But I don't know. I guess this is a fine play. It just felt a little mid. I'm not sure what I would have done though. I don't play light sworns. So I smash and ground this armory arm, easy peasy, 1700. We're gonna go for the Ready Ari for sure to banish the plague, and then I don't think we need to do anything but set Wabaku, right? Um, it baits out Cold Wave. This is why I kind of like it. Now he can't do anything. He doesn't really have an optimal play right here, so he just summons and passes his turn. He basically just went neg with the Cold Wave, and or he went one for one, I suppose. But this is a lot better for me than it is for him. So we talked about the Prisma. I'm really liking Prisma. I know it's very controversial, like in the Gladiator Beast Discord, everyone's always talking about like Prisma versus no Prisma, but I like how much it raises the ceiling of this deck. And like I said, I really like how it synergizes with Wabuku. Either if your Glad Beast lives because of Wabuku, or the Prisma itself lives because of Wabuku, it just makes for such an easy Geysaris play. So that's what we do here. Pop his card. Don't have to be afraid of Honest. If he summons Gores, I don't really care because I can Murmillo. Um, bring out. Ooh, yeah. Bring out the Quarry and a quest and add the Bestiary back to my hand. He's Cold Wave, so I can't set anything, but I'm pretty confident he can't clear more than one of these at a time unless he finds his way to JD because he does have four Light Swords in the grave, I guess. He mills the JD, so it's good for me. He mills the second JD, so we're chilling unless he has the beckoning. And here he goes. Okay, like this is just all right. He's just gonna mill a lot. That's fine. But we already know that I have the Geysaris follow play. I'm gonna pop both of those cards because I don't want to risk them living if he has Honest. I'd rather the Wolf live if he has Honest. He doesn't have Honest, so baits out his Necro, and then I'm gonna set two in the back row. I think a little bit right here. I don't really want to risk him popping my D prison, so I'm gonna compulse this Lila and deny him the mill. I feel like if he's normal summoning this, it's like pretty desperate, especially because he doesn't have JD, and I know that. Um, I guess I could have waited for him to activate the effect and see which one he targets and then bounce it, but I decided to just bounce it, and he's forced to end his turn on the spot. So um, now we're in a pretty commanding spot. We're getting the advantage. Um, oh, I go for the Herc play because I have. Oh, what the heck? Oh, that's so interesting. Why didn't I set that Mirror Force? I'm not under Cold Wave, and there's only one Honest in the graveyard. That's so strange that I didn't set this Mirror Force. I'm not sure why I didn't do that at this point. Huh. That's very strange. Am I under Cold Wave? No, I don't think I am under Cold Wave. Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't set this Mirror Force. He could definitely attack over this with. Oh no, sorry, I'm dumb. Ignore me. I already have this Deep Prison set, so I'm not even afraid of him attacking over it. He can't really do anything at this point. I'm just gonna go ahead and let him pop this back row because I don't care. Now he has a monster in defense. I can just run over. Um, he calls me out a couple times. I forgot to shuffle the deck just because like I'm not used to the deck not auto shuffling, right? Um, and I'm used to just synchroing. I'm not used to this like weird contact fusion mechanic. So I messed up a couple times, like maybe twice, where I forget to shuffle the deck and he calls me out. But the game state was completely repairable, so it's not really a big deal, right? Um, Clear the Lilac, get in there for 3K. There's no Gores, it's in the graveyard. And then we just get a big Laquari, set one, bottomless, and pass. Um, Negate that, and that's all she wrote. So an easy first game. He got a little bit unlucky with milling his power cards, but yeah. And already the Light Imprisoning Mirror is coming in clutch once more. I'm gonna go for this Stratos. Get my Prisma. Bait out. This is why I like Stratos, right? It's just free Ryko and bottomless food, right? We're gonna go ahead, set two back row. I choose to set the trap hole and the impris. I'm kind of afraid of Lila, so that's why I have the double coverage right there. And if he sets another Ryko, then I have the coverage with the light impris. He does summon the Lila, so I'm gonna go ahead and trap hole that right away. And now I'm gonna just start prepping my graveyard with this Prisma. I think I'll probably dump a Laquari. And this is why I like Prisma, because it puts a GB in the graveyard so that you can get value out of your subsequent quests. And again, if it lives, then you can make Gyzaris. So set the traps done because I'm setting up for the Gyzaris play next turn. And he heavy storms me. Unfortunate. Clears both my back row. Clears my Prisma. And now I'm in a tough spot. So this would be pretty good, except for the fact that he has Necro Garden in the graveyard. So this cat is not going to be enough to really get me there. Um, so let's see what we do here. I think we just go for, yeah, we go for the quarry and clear the Jane, bait out the Gardna. And right here, my friend pointed out is where I maybe made a little bit of a misplay. Um, I go ahead. So what does he copy? He copies Lila, and I War Chariot this Phantom of Chaos. And this is where my friend told me I probably made a misplay. I probably should have just let him copy the Lila and then pop the back row, and then he would have Phantom of Chaos in defense mode, which I could clear with my quest next turn. But now he doesn't have a monster that I can, attack into with my GBs. So um, either way, he still would have had to crash this wolf, right? But he would have a monster for me to attack right now. Um, I could have attacked the monster, um, summon a quest, maybe add this, maybe summon a quest, and then hmm, maybe attack the Phantom of Chaos, go into Murmillo, pop this guy, and then set the War Chariot potentially is a play that I could have done. Um, and actually, maybe that would have gotten me there because he has no monster in his hand right now. So the Murmillo, well, I actually just drew Honest, but anyway, now I'm in a losing position, unfortunately. Um, so an interesting spot comes up here. I choose not to set this road. Maybe make him think I have gores, but then I'm just stalling out a little bit, hoping that I draw something. And I actually do draw the out right here, and I got like so excited right here because now I can, set these two and summon the quest, and he can't heavy me. And if he attacks, I can Wabuku. But then I completely fumble, and for some reason I decide to set this a quest because I don't want to give him the information of what it is. But that's so dumb because he has his errand right here, and I totally forgot its effect for a second. So even though I drew the out, I'm like, holy shit, I just fumbled so hard. Um, and then also if I put it in face up position, face up attack mode, then maybe it could have represented a war chariot, which is plausible, given that I haven't been setting anything. So I should have just summoned this quest in attack mode, but it ends up not mattering. He does rip the JD a little bit early, which you know, which works out because I have the Starlight Road. I'm not really. I think he got a little bit trigger happy right there. Um, but then he does have a what's it called? A Mistworm play, so it doesn't really matter that I set this face down. I'm able to stall out for one turn, but then he top decks the other JD, and that's all she wrote. So this match is already pretty spicy from my point of view. I go ahead, start off with interesting play. So if this Laquari lives, then I can go for a what's it called? A Gyzaris play next turn. I have this trap hole to stop any of his summons, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Unfortunately, he does have the special summon Cyber Dragon, which is really good. Right here, I considered waiting one turn to summon the Sidra and just setting traps on and passing, which is probably the right play because next turn, if he summons Lila or something or a Light's Warrant, I could just trap hole it and I only take 21 and I can guarantee that this Cyber Dragon goes through. But honestly, I just was not respecting oppression and I kind of forgot about it. So I walk right into the suppression, which is really, really bad for me. I decided to set up for next turn though. So he gets in there with Sidra. Oh, I Mirror Force this. Force him to put another body on the field, which I trap hole. And now I'm gonna go for this GB play. I'm gonna go ahead and trap stun here, and I decide to go for Laquari just because it's 21 and pretty big, and I have both Chariot and Light Impriz, so I'm feeling pretty safe behind this. But I thought this was the best play to go under the oppression. Um, so he goes for, oh, interesting. He uses Monster Incarnation for Lila, and I'm gonna go ahead and Light Impriz this. Now I can start clearing his cards, and he doesn't really have too much in his hand. I'm gonna hold this War Chariot for when I really need it, and he can't even special summon, so he's locking himself out with his own impression, and I can just start setting up the grave. Here I made a misplay, but he catches it. I haven't really been in this position before where I tried to use Prisma with Light and Priz, so he catches this, and I could still activate Prisma, right? But I just can't resolve it. So luckily he catches it, and the game state is reversible. Um, but it really doesn't matter because this bestiary being in the grave ends up, being inconsequential. But now we're just gonna go in there and go beat down mode. Okay, and here's where we war chariot that. So my friend also pointed out I could have waited him to pay the 1,000 for Judgment Dragon's effect, which he copied, and then war chariot to put him at 18, and that would have been put him closer to game. But he also, if he was very smart, he could have attacked over my Glad first before activating JD's effect. So then I can't war chariot, so I didn't want to risk that, and I just war chariot it right away. Luckily, I top decked the second War Chariot right here. So he summons the Arcist, and I got really lucky because I had the War Chariot, and he top decked an Honest. So we get the dub right there. It's a little bit lucky that I topped that second War Chariot, but he also just top decked the Honest right there. So, he's kind of salty right here. He says, I did cheat 4 times, but like two of those times were just me not shuffling the deck, and one of the times was the Prisma thing, which was completely reversible. So I think he's being just like, this is just like a typical Lightsworn player that doesn't get to sack you, and like it's not really my fault that he locked himself out with his oppression. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Um, I'm gonna be playing Gladiator base a lot more, and hopefully I get to test it out against different decks and take you guys on this journey. So thanks. Peace.